Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Inside Guns with your host, me, the Yankee Marshall. Sorry I don't have a green screen tonight. This is the only part of the room I haven't torn down yet, is this over here, so I'm using this as a backdrop again, just like the old days. And the sound's going to be weird, and the lighting's weird. The reason I don't have a green screen is I had to take it down so we could run electrical in the ceiling today, so I'd actually have lighting in here. But I want to do a video tonight after I explain all that crap that I probably didn't need to explain. A lot of people know I've been talking about the Military Arms Channel SVD debacle lately and been telling Tim to make it right. Well, during my live chat tonight, and I want to let people know right up front, I want to talk about how this just keeps getting worse and keeps getting more disappointing every time I have contact with any of these people. But I'll get to that in a second. What I wanted to say first is, during my live chat tonight, someone said, did Tim ever really care about gun rights, or was he always a fake, and blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, you know, no one is saying Tim doesn't care about gun rights right now. I will say I have known Tim since way before he did YouTube, back in the forum days. Tim has always cared about gun rights. Tim has always cared about guns. He's always loved guns, and he's always cared about the rights of a citizen to keep and bear arms. I haven't even brought that into question now. Now, I do believe they prioritize money over actually making any progress. You know, it's profit over progress. It's money over everything else, unfortunately. But I still think in the back of their head, they're actually very pro-Second Amendment, very pro-gun, but they see a way to make money off of it. And I think they convince themselves that it's still them doing the good thing. So I would never go as far as to say someone like Military Arms Channel is not pro-Second Amendment. So people who think that, I think you're wrong. I think they've just fallen into the trap that it seems like so many people that have gotten popular on YouTube have. Once you get a taste of big money, and once you get a taste of prestige, you know, popularity, it goes to your head. And it gets hard to do without it. And you find ways to justify the things you do to maintain those. And I think that's the problem with most big popular channels on YouTube that are gun related. Thank God my channel's never been popular. I've never been popular with most gun people, and never been that successful. A lot of people will tell you that's been by design. I don't want this to be something like the other channels become, because that money is hard to resist once it starts rolling in. And it's easy for me to say I don't want it because I worked for many years and got to a situation where I'm okay now. Whereas a lot of people came into this as they were starting their families, as they were, you know, in the middle of their lives, not towards their careers, not towards the end of it like I was when I came in. I'd already retired, sold my businesses, and was staying home and raising kids. They weren't that fortunate, so they had to make money. Well, you make a little money, then you make more money, then you make a lot of money, and it becomes all about the money. But having said that, and saying that I don't question their values, I don't question their the factuality of them being pro-Second Amendment. I just question what they've convinced themselves is okay now, and how they chase that money. Once you get addicted to that green dragon, you chase it all the time. And I want to say, like I said, I've gotten really disheartened because it seems to be almost every big gun channel. Popularity's a bitch, I guess. Like I'd know. But I want to say something today happened where, like I said, makes it worse every time I talk to these people. It makes me think less of them. I got contacted today, totally out of the blue. I did not contact this person. I do not know who this person is. I've never spoken to this person, never said this person's name. But I did say something about the Indiana Citizens Defense League that Tim helped start up after he saw how much money the Virginia Citizens Defense League was raking in. And I got contacted by someone here. He's a Kurt Martis. He's an MD, I guess, because he signed it Kurt Martis, MD, co-founder of Indiana Citizen Defense League. He says, "Dear Yankee Marshall," it's Dear the Yankee Marshall, by the way, "you and I have a bit in common. We both love the gun manufacturer Beretta. We also enjoy YouTube, and particularly content created by the gun community. I want to clarify a few issues related to one of your recent videos. I wanted to start the Indiana Citizens Defense League as a passion project as an Indiana resident. I thought Tim Harmson would be a great asset, that's Military Arms Channel, to the organization. To my surprise, he agreed to be a co-founder with exclamation point he put there. We have since added Ryan Browning to our team as a third board member. If you have any questions or concerns about our organization, please feel free to contact me directly at... Oh, I don't want to, probably shouldn't read that. Forget those numbers. I will actually go back and bleep that out. It's my direct cell phone number. If you call this other number, you will reach Doc's Guns. Chris Weiss will likely answer the phone. He is the general manager. Which I guess this guy probably owns this gun shop. If it's Doc's Guns, he's a doctor, and that's the number you can call him at, blah, blah, blah. And then he says, in Liberty, Kurt Martis, MD, co-founder, ICDL. Well, I responded to him. I made it a very simple response. You know, he said if I have any questions or concerns, let him know. I don't like calling people on the phone, so I just sent him an email back. And I said, why does there need to be a board for your organization? What legal battles are you finding? And I meant fighting, but it was a typo. What legal battles are you currently actually fighting? What fights are you funding? That's basically what I was trying to ask him. And then I asked him, how much do you guys take for expenses? Basically, I said, what are you actually doing? And how much of the money you bring in are you putting in your own pockets, you know, for expenses, etc. Simple questions. And since this is a passion project, I would have expected to hear back, you know, well, we need a board just for organization. We're fighting this battle. We're fighting that battle. We're sending money to this group. We're sending money to that legal fund, blah, blah, blah. You know, just simple stuff. I probably wouldn't have even checked it out if he told me. And, you know, maybe they would, and maybe we said, oh no, this is a passion project. We are not taking payment. We are not paying ourselves as a member of the board. We're a volunteer board, which usually if they form a board, they usually not volunteers, but I would have loved to hear we're just all volunteer. We don't take any money. But this is his actual response, and you can't make this shit up. You can't try to make people look bad any better than this person does himself. His next response to me is, Mr. Yankee Marshall, still not Mr. the Yankee Marshall, Mr. Yankee Marshall, please cease and desist contact. Sincerely, Kurt. This guy contacted me, told me if I had any questions, ask. But because I asked, why do you have a board? What battles are you actually fighting? And how big a dip are you taking out of the company pond there with how much money you're paying yourselves? Please cease and desist. Now, does that sound like an organization you'd want to give money to? I don't know a lot of things about the Indiana Citizens Defense League. In fact, every one of their website locations I tried to go to tonight, except for their Facebook, came back as, you know, that 404 or whatever that means. So I guess their websites are in process of being built. But I wouldn't give these people a penny. If you gave them a nickel, in my opinion, I would have to say you are a rube. A grade A rube. Please cease and desist contact. After he contacts me out of the blue, don't even know the guy. It says, if you have any questions or concerns about the organization, please feel free to contact me. Okay, I asked simple questions. Please cease and desist contact. Sincerely, Kurt. Does that sound like somebody doesn't have something to hide? I mean, I'm just putting out the actual information he sent me here. I've not changed a word of it. Does that sound like somebody who doesn't have something to hide? Doesn't to me. And it sounds like I'm absolutely right about the Indiana Citizens Defense League. Seems like it's set up so they can form a board and LLC, pay themselves expenses for their time, you know, and probably suck a bunch of money out of any money anyone donates, just like the NRA did. Unfortunately, that seems to be the business practice nowadays. Pretty much every person that runs a gun organization or forms a gun organization is making buku bucks on their expenses, on their not-for-profits. And remember, a nonprofit and a not-for-profit are two different things. A nonprofit shouldn't be making money and has to justify every penny they spend on their board, etc. A not-for-profit can make as much fucking money as they want. I've had not-for-profits before. They didn't make any money. But just in case they did, we had it set up as a not-for-profit. So this guy, and I did check out if there really is a Kurt Martis, MD, if there really is that gun shop, and blah, blah, blah. So the person who sent this letter has the names right. It has a valid address, an email address that looks legit. I'd never heard of this guy before, so when I go look him up and he is legitimately involved, I have to feel like, why would someone go to the trouble of faking this? But you can't believe someone actually did this. This just tells you the kind of people we're dealing with, and it tells you what people are about. You ask a simple question. How hard is it to say, hey, what percentage of the money comes in actually goes to fight battles, and what battles are you actually fighting? Why should we give you money? What are you doing with it? Cease and desist. What crap. And like I said, this is just like when Tim came to me about, and he's lied to people about this too, about when he came to me about Handguns for Heroes. He wanted to get this guy who runs these other not-for-profit charities, which I looked up, and they give very little of their percentages to, a big percentage of their money doesn't go to the charities. It goes to the board and goes to things. And Tim wanted us to be on the board of it after this guy was running it. It would be me, Iraq veteran, and Tim. Called me. I remember I was sitting in the parking lot of an engraver getting some custom grips made for a 1911 when he talked to me about that. Now, he's changed that story since it happened, but that's how it happened. And if you want to look back through my live chats, you'll see I covered it then. I was like, they pissed me fucking off. This is what they did. And I said, if you start a not-for-profit similar to the one I'm doing so that you can suck money away and away from it and put yourself on the board and make money and have it turned into another Wounded Warriors project or whatever it is, I will fucking sue you in a second for intellectual property violations. And nothing ever came of it, I think, because I was very clear about that. But this just goes to show you, I'm starting to think everything these people get involved in is it's just for the fucking money. It's to defraud us of our cash. And then when there's real fights, when there's real battles, there's real lawsuits that you could say, hey, here's $50 for that lawsuit you all are fighting in California or New Jersey, etc. You have to go, well, I don't got nothing in my pockets. I gave it all to these gun groups. What are they doing with it? Oh, they took half of it for themselves, put the other half in a pile, invested some of it to profit for themselves, and then doled out a few pennies here and there where they thought it would be profitable. But they don't get involved in lawsuits they don't think they'll win. Does that sound familiar? It sounds like the NRA. And since the NRA has basically collapsed, it seems like all when money is concerned and power is concerned, vacuums don't exist long. Every scumbag around rushes to fill that vacuum that the other scumbags left when they were just disappeared. So it just gets worse, and it gets worse. I wasn't going to say anything else about the SVD thing, and I'm not going to tonight either. And like I said, I defended Tim as far as being an actual believer in the Second Amendment. I just think his decision-making is a little clouded, and it's clouded by the dollar signs in his eyes. You get popular, you get wealthy, you want to stay popular, you want to stay wealthy. Believe me, I've been rich and I've been poor in my life. I've been technically rich, actually. I was part of the top 3%. You know, that's what most people consider wealthy nowadays. And then I was poor afterwards. And then I was middle class. And then I was upper middle class. Then I'm middle class again. And I can tell you, the only thing worse than being poor is being rich and then being poor. And in fact, being rich and then being middle class makes it feel like you're poor. That's why I try to avoid that. Because I'd rather just stay middle class and coast into my golden years. But this isn't about me here. And here's the thing. I don't even care if some people take some expenses for things they do. Everyone has a right to make a living. Now, I don't believe that things like our rights is something you should be making a living off of. You shouldn't set yourself up as a middleman between the people and the actual fight just so you can drain off some of the money that would have went to the actual fight. That's not an honorable career as far as I'm concerned. That's some scummy stuff. I don't like that at all. But anything else you want to do, I don't care if you want to defraud elderly people out of their pensions. You know, do you if you want to be scummy. But getting in the middle and trying to siphon off our power, because money is power in these fights. And just to get in the middle so you can siphon off the glory and the money and the power, I don't find that honorable at all. And this kind of response just tells me, in my opinion, that's what it's all about. If you would have came back and said, oh, we take no more than 20% for our time, well, that would have even been something better. I'd have been like, well, still 80% of the money's going to the fight. And maybe they're organizing things. And if they could tell me, okay, here's what we're doing. Here's how we're making the fight better. Here's how we're actually achieving victories. This is the game plan we're putting together. Then I'd still been willing to listen to them saying, well, they're taking 20%, but they're actually getting shit done. But cease and desist when you ask a simple question after they contact you, really. Can this guy be for real? This Kurt Martis, MD? But I just wanted to put this video out tonight. This wasn't what I was going to do my video on. I was going to do it on, the fact that the guy today used a pistol with a pistol brace on it, an AR pistol with a pistol brace on it, what I thought that was going to mean for our rights, and his mental health and how that should have been something that should have been dealt with. But I guess I'll have to do that tomorrow if I can still do a video tomorrow, because like I say, things are falling apart around me here. I mean, I'm building stuff, but as I'm building the new, the old is going away, and there's going to be an in-between period where there's nothing, and it's going to be really hard for me to do videos because camera's not going to be on the wall, nothing's going to be behind me, there's not going to be a computer set up. There's probably going to be a couple of days of that. I'm trying to schedule it to where that'll be over the weekend, so I may only miss like one day of the week. But I just wanted to get on here and say, there's a couple of things I want to say. Like I said, I still do believe Tim is probably pro-Second Amendment, and just clouded by stars and dollar signs. His eyes are. And that doesn't mean that there's not hope for him to come back. Because like I say, very few people are ever irredeemable. Unless you rape a child or strangle a puppy, in my opinion, you're redeemable. And just taking money, profiting, going in for a profit deal doesn't make someone irredeemable, especially if they make up for it later. But I wanted to say that, and I wanted to say this, oh my God, you can't make this stuff up.